had a dream. I was water just flowing through space, till I landed on the record that my grandma would play. Talk sweet like jazz in the park after rain. What the grass smell green and the air feels sane. Put the phone on mute, let the silence explain. I don't need much, just a book in the brain. Used to chase things that would run from me. Now it's just still, let the peace come free. Paint a verse in the sky with a loose leaf. While the moon do a dance with a soft dope play. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. I've been good, I've been gone, I've been lost in the loops. Got a hoodie and some headphones, walking with troops. Ain't no inches in the feed, just noise and flex. But I found God once in a vinyl set. Talk slow when I speak, let the moment stretch. Learn peace ain't found, it's a thing you protect. Yeah, I vibe like water, I change and shift. But the roots still deep like my grandma's grits. City move fast, but I drift like smoke. Let the rhythm in my chest be the way I cope. Wrote a song for the days that feel soft and broke. What a healing don't shout, but it still got hope. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back.
Fresh like the morning, mouth wide open like they yawning. Every time they see me, they in G-Shock. Homie, this is too far. Homie, I feel too alive. You can see me like Illuminati. You can see me like Illuminati. But I'm shining so bright. Don't come and try to share some of this light, no. Give me a beat and I control it like a maestro. Ladies on a mission, they be trying to get me wiped up. Shawty, wait a minute, can't tell if I like ya. Gotta make sure you know how to shake it like a bartender. Team with me and they all winners. And you know we ballin' all winter, all summer. Jewelry around my neck is lightning, but I'm all thunder. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Place your bets on us. Get your money and flip it, yeah. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Place your bets on us. Get your money and flip it. Come along, don't be taking too long. The vibe's too strong. If you don't know how to move, then we moving on. Ain't no way rhythmic feet up in this place. If you can't catch the feeling, then get out the way. I've been reeling and fish from the lake. Like you saying I'm down to earth, but I'm really out of space. All these women aliens, super foreign, so exotic. Hopping in Mercedes Benz, and I got them question like ice pouring above. It's overflowing on us. You drop it, they pick it up. I think I'm falling in love, but shawty, this isn't what you probably thinking it was. It's a vibe out, cooling it for the weekend is us. You gon' find out once you come on and bring it up. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Place your bets on us. Get your money and flip it, yeah. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Keep coming with it. Place your bets on us. Get your money and flip it. Keep coming with it. Keep coming
All right, gang, we are live. What's good, guys? How's everyone doing? Thank you guys for coming through. This is our yet again Saturday Dev stream. I am joined by Aldrin. Desire. Desire is yellow again. I don't know why, but anyway, guys, that's good. How's everyone's weekend? How's everyone's Saturday morning? We're back today. We have a bit of a different test to things. Normally, we're looking at mostly things in Unreal, but I believe today it's Desire stepping in and now giving us a bit of a feel of what the back end looks like. So we'll be looking at a few things from a few things when it comes to code, and yeah, maybe I'll hand it over to Desire to just kind of initiate us and just give us a bit of an idea of what we're looking at today. Desire, over to you.
Hi guys, how are you doing? What's up? Today we shall be working on Verse, right? The programming language that enables us to customize some of the devices, some of the props, some of the things that we need to do that we don't want to use the normal provided events within the editor. Last week we were looking, Aldrin was taking us through how to just build things within UFN, how to use, did you use the outline panel?
Did we use the outliner? Not as much, not as
Not
much.
as
I want to
much.
make pretty structured edges, so you'll have to show us how that actually works.
Yeah. So
Yep.
usually you can use the outline panel, but then now we shall be using code mostly to do most of the things, yeah. Aldrin, do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone, good morning. This guy's hogged the spotlight. Today I'm not running the stream. Desire is going to be our tech. So if you have questions, do not hesitate. Actually, I encourage you to have as questions as possible so we can keep her on her toes. Yeah, that's it. Please, Desire, take us away.
Maybe before Desire kicks off, just to give a bit of a shout out and also to look at who's in chat. Guys who are joining in, thank you for coming through. This is our official developer live stream. We run these every Saturday 10 a.m. and we get to take you behind the scenes of some of the projects we're working on. So really appreciate you guys for coming through. Those that are in the chat, those that are joining us for the first time, welcome to Arudem. We're a game development studio in Uganda, and yeah, today I think we're looking at something interesting, and like I mentioned earlier, we're really focused up on code. I think this is our third stream, and yeah, maybe it's an opportunity for us to. Desire has never hosted a stream before or taken us through a stream, so I'm kind of looking forward to what she has for us today. All right, Desire, back to you. Let's get it going. What do we have?
Thanks, Aaron. So I think before we get into building,
Okay.
today I would like to show you something small. Aldrin had shown you the side where you can just a documentation mostly for UFN, but there's also a documentation for Verse in case you want to learn how to do different things like create your own devices, create your own NPC behavior, different things. There is always like a documentation that is really well detailed that can take you through all that. Now, what are we building today? I think we can start off with something fun, something small, like spawning a car, a vehicle, right? How do you do that? So there is something called the content drawer down this side. The content drawer, you usually find everything that you want to do, everything that you want to build. Most of these are provided by Fortnite itself. So if you come down here into devices, that's where you'll find our spawner for the vehicle, right? I'm already in devices, so I'm going to do vehicle spawner. Which one do you want? Which vehicle would you want to spawn?
Let me just pull up my Discord here.
Let me see what Evan is getting initiated.
Because we have a big guy, don't we?
Yeah.
Our guy that we usually use.
You want to get. Oh, I mean, it's okay. Let's use there's an orange. I think it's a Mustang. I'm not really sure. There's a sedan spawner. No, you use the Fang. There's the Fang spawner right there. I'm seeing it next to.
There's no truck.
There's a big truck here. The big. Big
The
rig.
big rig. The big rig.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
So we're going to use the big rig. Wrap it in our world.
Is it moving? It has hanged.
I don't know. It has not.
Usually
Okay.
there's a bit of lag, so you kind
Yeah.
of have to be patient. So just drag it.
I have dropped
in.
it.
Yeah. So hit F, I think, to find where it has actually landed.
Right.
Desire, could you just again, I wasn't paying so much attention when I was starting. What exactly are you looking at? Because the stream is more inclined towards something to do with adding AI enemies to our game. So,
Yeah. So we're going to bring in creatures that our player will be fighting, but I wanted to start off with something easy, something that would lead us into the programming itself.
okay.
Something small. So I'm going to first provide maybe a vehicle, introduce the code, how it looks like, a few things that they need to know. Then we shall program the creatures in.
Okay.
That's how it's
So,
going to flow.
so we're going to start with programming a vehicle first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So where's our car?
That's what I'm trying to
So you
find.
could restrain or drop it in again and see.
Yeah, it did not come in.
Yeah. So
So
just
back to our content drawer.
yeah, there it is.
There it is. So we have this vehicle. One of the ways you can work on it is by coming down up here into the details panel, and you use already like pre-made functions and events. These are, it's like pre-made code that would make life easier. Should I say it like that? But then we want to customize it. We want to be able to spawn it with at a press of a button, right? So we have our vehicle spawner here. We're going to bring in a button so that if our player presses this button, this vehicle appears and they're able to drive it, right? So we're going to look for our button device as well. These devices enable you to customize all these things. So we shall put our button over there. Pull it out of the ground. There you go.
So buttons are the ones you use to like interact with the various objects, the various NPCs.
Yeah, okay, me, I'm choosing to use a button now, but you can also use like trigger devices, like if a player passes this point, then this can happen. But I'm using this button so that I can show you, maybe have an inside look on how that can also be done. So we have our two devices that are ready. Now we're just going to enable them to communicate and be able to execute through code. We come up here, this panel, Verse, and we open the Verse Explorer, which will open up here. This is the name of our game, right?
Okay.
It's the asset build stream. We're going to create a new Verse file, the Verse device. We can call it Fun Ride.
Moses, just check the audio and just make sure audio is okay. All right.
Create. So immediately you decide to create one, you have to have Visual Studio Code installed so that it opens that automatically. That's where we shall be doing the code from. So UFN uses an editor called uses an IDE called Visual Studio Code to do the languages. It should open automatically. Aldrin, have you ever tried to program with Verse before?
It's a very good question. Not particularly. I am usually a very visual scripting driven guy. So normally I'll work with the parameters that I tend to put out for you. Yeah. Or if it requires a bit more complexity, I probably use Blueprint and Unreal Engine. As much as I like C++, I tend to dodge it most times.
Okay. What about you, Ivan?
Huh. Trick question, I see. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
It's a setup.
Yeah, but as Isa is doing her thing, I just want to do a bit of housekeeping. Those that are joining us in chat, thank you for coming through. Again, this is our developer live stream. We get to take you guys behind the scenes of on some of the projects we're working on. And if you're watching on TikTok, you can head over to YouTube. It gives you a better viewing experience than if you're watching on a YouTube vertical. But all around, thank you guys for tuning in. We do this every Saturday, 10 a.m. to midday. I hope we get to keep time today, guys. We normally decide to go past midday, things do get a bit exciting. But hopefully we'll try to keep that time this time around. Desire, have you finished fumbling or what are you currently doing?
So we already put our devices within our map, right?
Okay.
We put in the car, we put in the button. So what we are doing this side is calling them by me putting, okay, remember we created a script called FunRide, right?
Okay.
It was in Verse. It created a class that creates a device. It's a creative device that you usually drag into your game, into your map, so that it's able to communicate to the devices that you have put within there. Now, what we're going to do, the next step is editing these devices that we called. When you say at editable, you're saying that you would want to customize a specific device, right? So at editable, the first thing that we're going to customize is our was it Big Rig?
Yeah, that was the car. Firstly, before you go very, very far, this is all seeming quite relatable. I just need you to do for me something very, very small. Outside of like the syntax, I just want you to break down for me that class because I know this from my object-oriented programming is you have a class and you have the class name, you have some, what do they call them? Functions inside the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just tell us what is what. You could also
So
just do them as
this is our
comments.
class, right? This creative device over here. Our class name is FunRide. You'll get to see that every time, now like when we are going to create the creatures, we're going to create a different device to communicate with those creatures, right? Within those devices, we shall also have a different class, right? A different class for those creatures. Now, when it comes to functions, the functions come down below. You see this on begin. Whenever you're done calling your devices up here and connecting them to the devices within your map, when this function runs on begin, it means that once the game starts, I want you to run the code that comes below down this side, right? Down this side.
So it's like I'm just trying to create the parallel. It's like my int main or something.
Yeah, definitely. See, okay. So even below here, you will see we shall get to create different functions. So down here it's for functions, up here it's to call your class and then to also get variables and communicate with the devices that you have already built within the map.
Okay. Firstly, before you even go any further, because I know there is class definitions. So what we're looking at as FunRide, is that like an instance of the creative device class, or it's a class definition of a whole new class that you're creating right now?
It's a new class that I'm creating. Maybe the other thing that I haven't talked about are these. They're kind of like libraries. When you say using Fortnite devices, if we lack this, then we cannot really do anything with the devices. When we come down here, it will just show errors, right? If you're to do math, then you bring in using spatial math. You'll have to call that also. So this is where you start calling those libraries that already exist, that have already been provided to you.
So just for context, everyone who's watching, it's since we we usually encourage code reusability when we're programming. So we tend to create these libraries that have predefined functions, basically predefined tools. And then if you want to use them in your code, you just simply call them. So in this case, in Vast, the function call syntax is basically that using then Fortnite, then .com/devices, which is now the name of the library you're going to be using. So if she's using components from the devices library, she has to identify that she's using them from that particular library. If she tries to use them without, sort of like calling that that library, they won't actually work. I think that's it, Desire, right?
So, the other thing that I would like to introduce our audience to is what we call our verse.digest. Verse.digest.verse. It's a file that has everything that you need to know, everything that you need to use, from the devices that you want to edit, what can be done with them, to the functions that you're creating, how can you connect them to the devices that you have called, right? So if I come here and do control. See.
As you're doing that, there's a quick question here. Someone's asking, does PHP, HTML, oh, I think he's asking, he's a PHP/HTML guy. Does he have any luck with this, or will he have to learn a new language? I think Manuel is trying to find out whether, with the code stack that he knows currently, which is PHP and HTML, is that enough for him to dive to go to get straight into development, or does he need to learn a new language?
Well, the thing is, he already has the foundation knowledge, right? I also didn't learn Verse. I just adopted it because it's similar to most of the languages that we already know. If you already know PHP, that means you know about functions, you know about classes, you know about, you might know a bit of object-oriented programming. So you just follow tutorials. Like the thing that I introduced you to at first, this documentation over here, they have some things that ease you into learning Verse. For example, this builder game, you can come here and choose to build any of these games, and they'll take you step by step from creating or dragging the props and everything you need to build into your map to actually bringing in and linking them with Verse down here. So it's an easy to learn language that has different resources that you can use to ease you in. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Manuel, I hope that does it for you. There's someone, Black looks a bit confused. Black, if there's something that you may want to ask, please let us know. If you have any question, please do let me know, and we'll see how to address it. All right, Zia, back to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the name of Big. Is it Big? So if you come into our, because we're going to visit our Verse, this is the file. It has so many lines, as you can see. It's up to 3,218. That's a lot of files, but it shows you how to use different things that you are into. For example, we are trying to use our vehicle spawner to create a vehicle once it interacts with a button. So how do we find the code that goes with that? So you come here, you do Control F, and then our vehicle was Big Rig.
Is it just big rig or big underscore rig?
Let me see. Let me first look for vehicle spanner.
I'm seeing one of one. What does look like documentation?
Yeah. One.
I'm seeing that the ones thinking the comments, highlight the comments.
Which one are you saying?
You see the one that's
One of
highlighted on
one.
the screen? Yeah, one of one. That one. That's the one that's on the screen right now.
It should be able to bring more.
So maybe just to supplement to use your answer to, I think it's Manuel. I don't know. You could forgive me if I butchered your name. I think with PHP and HTML, what you need to add on is just simply understanding things like program flow statements, like how to stop a program, how to start a program, how to, essentially things like that. That's even object-oriented programming, but they're not very difficult to learn once you're already in the door with the structure of those. I believe they're essentially, what's the word for those languages? It is the classification of languages like HTML. I think it's
when you say classification, you mean that like high, where you say that this is a high level language?
I mean, yeah, but there's a particular name for them. Of course, definitely PHP. Those are definitely high level language. Let me just look it up as you find your big Greek and you take us.
I have actually found it. It's the big Greek device over here.
Oh, it had like a bunch of different underscores.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, okay. When you call vehicle spanner, because they're spawner, there are two. There is the vehicle spawner, which is the parent. Then under that, it has different children. Because we saw different vehicles when we come to UFN, and you'd say you want a vehicle, right? There are all these. So vehicle spawner is the parent. Then these are the children. So you start with the parent. You start by calling the parent, which is vehicle spawner. Then that's why at first I had vehicle spawner, then I was looking for the parent, the child's name, which is big Greek device. At first I thought it was this underscore wasn't there, but it has that underscore in between. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That makes sense. That makes sense. I think for me, my biggest gripe with coding for video games, all the stuff you have to remember. But I think for you, you're good on that front.
Yeah. I try.
Yeah, I've actually found it. So in that classification of looking at different programming languages, HTML falls under what you'd call markup languages, because they're often used to describe formatting things versus maybe something like JavaScript that would help you describe logic and stuff like that. So all you have to do maybe is crossover is just learn the languages that let you do that whole logic, the whole logic part too.
Yeah, true. So, I would like to explain this bit that I'm doing. Oh,
Yes,
sorry,
please.
it should be button device.
I think you might as well go back to the top to editable, because now me as the student here, I am, as much as I am not causing myself to get lost, I'm getting lost.
So it's pretty easy. We said that when we use at editable, we are trying to edit these devices that we have put within our map, right? So this is a variable. Variables are like holders, like names that hold. Oh my days! You didn't tell me my spelling was wrong. Is my spelling wrong?
Uh,
How do you spell vehicle?
it's vehicle. That's all you should know.
That looks wrong. You know those words that you spell and they just look like
Yeah. But
okay.
isn't vehicle like a reserved word?
A reserved word? What do you mean?
For example, you're trying to name a variable or for.
Yeah, so I wanted to, maybe we can call it big rig. I called it vehicle just in case, but we can call it
Yeah.
big rig since our vehicle name is big rig, right?
Yeah, just call it big rig. Big.
No, that sounds like a dangerous biker, big rig.
I mean,
So we have big rig. This is our variable name, right? Which is holding in this vehicle spawner device, right? And by you calling vehicle spawner device that's the second time, and putting it in this, you're saying that I want you to keep whatever is put within that. Does that make sense?
following.
Sorry, I'm doing alt. I'm so used to marks instead of command. I end
Okay.
up with
It's okay.
alt.
It's okay.
So that's that. Like you give it a variable name, you call the device, and you say, I want you to keep whatever I am storing within you. Does that simplify it?
Yeah, I think that kind of helps. That kind of helps us following along. Okay, you can continue.
So we're going to save. Save is controlling S, right? Control S.
Yes, Mac user. Yes, this contract.
Hide. Okay, so we come back here to our thing. So what I want us to do is I want us to call our device that we created. Remember the fun ride verse device that we created at the start, the way we saved our file?
Yes, I remember us creating that.
Okay, so we're going to drag it into this level of ours, right?
Yeah,
I've lost my vehicles.
I
Okay,
think
there you are. Okay, so
you
we're
can
going.
always just select and then hit F, and then you to get it.
Okay. You know my Aldrin is like my guru master or something like that. So
I
we're
have
going to.
I
So
have thousands of hours in so
so we come into all. Let's first remove this. We come back to our main file, our main folder, right? if I come here, remember we saved our verse code, the other side that we have created. You come down here and you say build verse code. A short form for that is Control Shift B. You building it. It's an error. Checking in.
Looks like we have an error. Is that it? Just it's a script error. I'm seeing dangling dash assignment with no expressions. Yeah, please show us how we firefight those.
Script error 3000. So we're seeing that we have it. The problem is in our funride.vas, the folder that we created, and it's saying these lines, I think. Let's see. Let's open it up and see what it's saying. Oh, down here. Let's put some brackets. It's because this function was empty. It needs to have some bit, maybe brackets or something, or code. I think at the start when we opened it, you saw that they even had a placeholder of an addition int kind of thing of print 4 plus 4, something like that. Yeah. So now that that is done, we shall save again.
I'd like to also ask, when we're using vanilla Unreal, we often try to have, I don't know if it's a technique you also use as a programmer, where you rely heavily on like print statements, whereby for every function you put like a small print statement to make sure that in case it runs, I get a print statement coming. Is that something you also do here? Is there a console we can actually see that output come from, or to verify
usually
activities?
during when you run Fortnite, you can see that, but I haven't been using that yet. I think I should adopt it because sometimes when I run into errors, I'm like, I just firefight, take a pause, go breathe in, touch grass, and then I come back.
Yeah, I think it's a good method because now if you have like different blocks of code and you want to know exactly where the failure is coming from, you just have a bunch of print statements. And then whatever print statement runs or doesn't run gives you kind of like a clue as to what exactly is or is not working.
Yeah. So we're now going to first check in changes. I think it has been a while since we checked in changes on this map because it's even showing 2 errors encountered.
Are there errors or conflicts?
Missing this change list.
Deletion fails.
Referenced. Button level. Big rig.
That looks like the new stuff. That's the new stuff.
Yeah, that's the new one. So let us first push whatever we have. Checking in, the description usually reminds you of what you did at that stage. So it's very important that you put something close to what you did, right? So me, I'm putting the added button, the big rig, and the verse file, so that if I'm troubleshooting later on, I know where to start from.
Maybe I can put some context for those who are watching. So by default, UEFN is a very collaborative platform. I think even with vanilla Unreal, you can also kind of have that functionality set up with Paphos. It can be like how different programmers use GitHub or other repositories to like keep track of their projects development at the same time. So with UEFN, we can have a team, and the team can have like different members, and they can all make contributions. After the end of making your contributions, you have to check in the changes you have actually made. So that's the part that shows us filling in. So you can put some small documentation to indicate what exactly you have changed. Usually I'm a lot more thorough. So it depends on what I'm doing, but put exactly what you've actually changed, and then you push that change. So then at the end of the day, when all the collaborators in a particular project have pushed their changes, sometimes you might find conflicts. So there's a conflict resolution page where you can actually see, okay, Desire pushed this and Aldrin pushed this, and these two things are conflicting. So which one do we get to keep? The program asks you. Yeah. Desire, how you go? Have you managed to push the changes?
Yeah, and then I compiled my code over here.
Why is the track still blue, Desire?
Because it's like a placeholder. It hasn't yet spawned yet. It hasn't yet appeared. When we want that when you push this button, then you'll see a red track that actually exists within your map.
So I believe that's going to happen when we're running the session already, right?
Yes. But right now, I want to connect this to the verse file that I've just created. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe one other thing that I think would benefit someone who's watching at home is a definition of devices, because I've been saying everything you said devices, and I was expecting like a gadget. But first, how do the devices connect to the experience in game? How do they make programming a bit easier? And what do they represent?
Maybe what I can do for you is maybe the way I was explaining it is a little bit over the, like just the top bit, getting the top bit. So maybe what I can do is search for devices over here in our documentation, and then we see what that says. They're bringing specific devices.
You're looking at the definition of devices, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. What I can do is this.
I saw the suggestion of what are human rights. Desire, what have you been looking into recently?
Pardon?
When you were typing that the prediction of Google said what are human rights? So I'm
Oh,
wondering, have you been looking into some activism?
they're just giving examples
Of what? Devices.
of the devices.
Yeah, you're going to have to find the words, Desire. I think you're kind of
Because I have. Okay, so whenever you want to do a specific thing, for example, have a conversation within UFN, there is a device for that, right? First, go with me. Go with me. First,
Okay.
follow
Okay.
me. Follow
Whenever you
along.
want to do
So there's
something in UEFN, there's a device for it.
yeah, there is always like a device. If you want to set traps, there are trap devices that you can customize, right? Tweak around and use them with either code or the outliner that we showed. These devices enable you to have like explosives that are okay, they are explosives within game, but they enable you to customize those explosives. Yeah, Aldrin is giving me that face of I don't think you're
yeah,
explaining
no,
it
I'm
that
not
way.
buying it because your definition contains a definition. You know, when I ask
Yeah.
you what is a goat, so a goat is a goat.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, let's
That's
see.
English class 101.
Okay, no, it's because some of these things, okay, you know, when you understand something in a way, it's hard to explain it if you just got it and went along with it. I don't know how to explain it,
Yeah,
guys.
okay.
Excuses.
I know.
And see, they're not even explaining. We're not finding any explanation.
From what I gather is
There's AI. There's AI. Come on.
the AI Outlook has actually betrayed her also.
Yeah,
But the thing is, I think from what you're trying to say is that devices let us access extra functionality, right? So
that's
it's,
what I was saying.
but you didn't say that.
Okay.
Anyway, devices let us like access extra functionality of objects within UEFN. So let's say you have a character, you have a conversation with them. There is a device that so there's a not the exact same thing as you. There is a bit of code bundled together that lets you access that functionality. So
Yeah.
you link that code with the different actors. We like to call them actors in game, and then it makes sure they can actually interact in a customizable way. So in your crutch, please use that crutch Desire.
Okay, thank you, sir. Like I said, he's my guru, guys. My guru. So
Didi.
you should give context to that, by the way. People might take it wrong.
Oh, my bad.
Very interesting nickname.
So we created our vast device, right? The one that enables us to add functionality. Aldrin. So our verse, as you can see, since we already called big rig in there and the button, it will come with the variable, the names that we gave them, right?
Desire,
Okay, first,
what are the two things? There's the blue track that is yet to spawn in, but then there's something on your left too.
yes, the button and then the console that I'm seeing here.
This
So,
one.
yeah.
So
Could you zoom in a bit?
at
Could
the
you zoom in a bit to it, please?
so this is the button, right?
You can just hit F, select the button and hit F,
Okay.
then hit F.
So this is the button.
Then to your
The
extreme
button
left,
that I'll
there's something to your extreme left. Oh, that's just a
this
chair.
one?
Yeah, is that a?
No, it's not a chair.
Oh, it's not actually. I thought it was like a seat. All right,
That would be a very
No.
interesting. Yeah.
So this is the, remember when we were creating a file to create my code in?
Okay.
This is the device that we created with that file. This is the, remember the class device? This is the device that we call in game, so that once the game begins, this device communicates to these guys that we have connected to it, and it just keeps on telling them what to do.
Getting it. I think I'm getting it. So basically, this console is like a visual representation of our code.
Yes, yes.
That was not so hard, Desire.
Why do they use that though? Why do they illustrate it using like could you control F so we can let's have a bit of a better POV of it?
It's like some vintage computer futuristic kind of thing.
Yeah.
Back
For
to the
those who
future.
have watched Silo, bro, this gives me Silo vibes. Shout out to Derek. Silo season 3 coming out this month, I believe, next month.
Is it this month or next month? Very
I think it's this
stoked for
month.
it.
I think it's this month. I feel like if you're bro, Silo is and then let's not get there. Let's get back to the topic. Desire, back to you. This looks like a relic. That's how they'd call it in Silo. All right, back to you,
So,
D.
so when you click on the button, our details are these, right? You can
Yeah.
either customize it from here. You see, there are already functions that are already preset, right? They're already, you can set the time that you want it to be interacted with. You can do different things. But if we don't want to go that route, that's where verse comes in, right? So when we created this device, and in our code, when we called the button, why isn't it coming up? In our code, we say that we wanted to be able to edit this button. We called it a button vehicle for our big rig. And then we also called the vehicle spawner to call the big rig as well. When we connected that, and you come to UFN, when you click on this, you'll see that they appear over here. The big rig and the button, just that they are not connected to anything yet, right? They are just going off based on the code that I gave it. So what we do is, you see this eyedropper over here?
Yep.
We shall use it to pick what we want it to connect to. So if I click on this eyedropper and I come, when I come to the button, obviously it will say no because it expects a vehicle. And when I come to my spawner, it will accept it because it's the vehicle spawner that we talked about. So there is a little bit of intelligence there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that because it means that they're class specific, so you can't pick something from the wrong class.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we
Yeah,
shall
what he
also
said, what he
connect
said.
our button. So we have also connected it to our button. So whatever code that we shall write, this device will communicate to this button, and it will also communicate to this big rig. Aldrin, have I explained that correctly, sir?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I get it because it seems like you're trying to create your custom outliner, essentially.
Yeah,
And that custom outliner is going
exactly.
to be a thing. So again, you
Exactly.
could have said that.
So
These are just 1 second. I just want to do a bit of housekeeping for those that are joining us on
Yeah.
TikTok. Jesse, thank you so much for the like. Guys, by the way, if you're watching on TikTok, I'd recommend you switch over to YouTube. You get a better POV of the stream and you get to see most of what we're talking about a bit better than it is on YouTube, on TikTok. But once again, yeah, thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for those who are following. We appreciate you, and yeah, stick around and maybe you can pick up and learn a thing or two. All right, Desire, back to you. Did you mute it?
No, I had muted for a
Right.
bit. So the thing that I wanted to show you last time is if you do control you see, it allows you to select this vehicle spawner that we had, and it takes you to Fortnite Digest Plus. And now you can see everything that you can do with that. These are the children spawner devices that we're talking about, vehicle spawner devices. And below that, you'll see that this parent one can enable you to 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 do all these things to
It's so interesting to actually look at, because from what you said, it's the first ones that are there are the different vehicles. First of all, I'm seeing big rig, I'm seeing sedan, I'm seeing quad, crasher, and the
and we
next.
saw them within a content drawer, right?
Yes. And then down here, I'm seeing base class values of very specialized vehicles, spawn which allow specific vehicle types to be spawned. That's fine. Then the one that lets you do actions, I'm seeing agent enters vehicle event, and then you can control what happens when a player enters the vehicle, what happens when a player, let me see, exits the vehicle. Okay, this is nice.
So these are all connected to your button, right?
No, these are functions that can be carried out
Yeah.
once you connect them to the vehicle. If you want to do anything, you can even see this one ensures that the vehicle is destroyed once the player exits. Yeah, there are different ones. So I just wanted to show this. Yeah, so I just wanted to show this to anyone who would want to code. Like, as long as you call your specific device, you can easily connect to it by doing the control, the clicking, and you see what can actually be done under that.
I have a question. Desire. Verse, given the language verse, maybe for those who are just joining us, is it a code? How can I put this question? Is the code specific to itself, or is it more or less a child of maybe like C plus or C plus plus?
It's kind of like, I would use derived. Wouldn't you use derived?
Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah,
good word.
kind of like derived from C++.
Okay.
It has similar writings. Could you
Yeah, the
put it in better?
syntax.
Syntax.
You're going to pay me to be your vocabulary.
Desire.
No, you see,
As Desire is
the
getting her words
point.
together, I just want to give a shout out to the people in chat. There's a big debate coming around, which is really off topic, guys. Let's stay on topic. For those that are asking about PUBG, guys, I don't know, PUBG, Call of Duty. I think I'll go for Call of Duty. We're Call of Duty main channel here, so I don't know if is PUBG still a game. Derek is actually asking. Shout out to the PUBG players out there. Daddy, we see you. Thank you so much for the comment. And those that are tuning in on TikTok, thank you guys for coming through. This is our developer live stream. We get to take you guys behind the scenes on some of the games we're working on. Is it on, off? But yeah, we kind of give you guys a bit of perspective when it comes to some of the games and projects we're working on. Right now, Desire taking us through code, which I know is a bit boring because there's so much math going on. But guys, just try to stick along. And if you feel like it's kind of not your vibe, there are two other streams that we did the past 2 weekends, which were more, I would say, visual friendly. Alvin, you called it visual. What did you call it?
I don't remember what I called it, but I'm pretty sure I said they're more visually appealing, I guess. The thing about coding live streams is that they're for the choir. You're preaching to the choir, they're for the choir. So if someone who's doing software is watching this, are just having a time of their lives.
All right, guys. Delta Force, guys. I really see you, and I would want to read your comments, but I don't want to deter Desire from what she's running us through. And maybe I don't know, Desire, is there a way we can expedite the process such that we can get to looking at the code function, looking at the code work? Because I think people are coming in and they're asking so much about the games. They want to see some bit of action.
Okay. Well, what I'm doing is actually like a bit of the last steps before we get into. Sorry. Before we run and launch a session and see how it will work out, because now I'm creating a function that will enable them to communicate.
Could you quickly go back to UEFN when it comes to what do you call it, the map view?
Is it the top down? First go back and you see.
Hold on, just a bit.
Where our track is.
Okay.
She is locked in.
She's still locked in.
Too locked in for us.
Let me just.
Yeah, so I think
Okay.
I think I think I would want those that are just joining us to get a bit of an idea of what we're working on. So if we just quickly run us through where we've come from, what we've managed to input, and exactly what we're trying to do, because I think this is an AI specific stream. I haven't heard the AI terminology being used this year, so I don't know, when's that coming out. But maybe just give us a bit of a rundown of what we're looking at, what you're trying to write code for, and what are the expectations once you're done writing the code.
Okay. Okay. So we had decided to start small. We had decided to spawn a vehicle in game so that our player can ride around our map, right? And in order to do that, we said that we're going to bring in this button so that once they click this button, the vehicle is spawned. It's spawned and they can be able to drive it around. But the thing was, we need to create code to enable these two to communicate, to know that when the button is pressed, this comes around. And in order to do that, we created a VAS file, more of a device, but we shall call it a file, that created this device where we have been coding from.
So that's representing our code basically. Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So this enables the code to communicate to this button, communicate to this track.
Okay, all right, all right. Back to the code. Guys, if you're watching on TikTok, you can head over to YouTube if you want a better viewing experience. We're also live there, RDM Gaming, same handle throughout. Link is in the description in case you guys would want a direct link to our YouTube. I believe it's a better place to watch given some of the detail, especially that given the fact that this is a more code-based stream. So you may not be able to see the tiny details, but I believe on YouTube you should be able to. And once again, thank you for joining us. We're live every Saturday 10 a.m. Giving you guys a bit of a feel of what game development looks like for us.
Okay,
All right.
so the code is done. What have I done? What I did was, the first step was, after the game begins, this function enables, this line of code enables us to tell the device that when the game starts,
Spawn
right?
this in.
Yeah, I want you to communicate to this button that once it's pressed, it brings up big rig. It spawns big rig.
Oh, you've called it
Our vehicle.
Big Rig. Is it like is it the name of of in that tray? Is it what it's called? Or
Yeah, it's called Big Rig Spawner. So I just went with the name of the car, the name of the truck, Big
could you
Rig.
open all the assets, and do they all have variable names? Or
Yeah, let me see. You can be talking, Aldrin. You can say something.
Yeah, they all have unique names. Just that they're quite few. I wish we had. I'm trying to look at a way we can get custom functionality of vehicles within UEFN, like for our games and our experiences, to see if we can actually have a custom car rig brought in. Then, because the selection here is a bit limited.
Yeah. So these are the different vehicles that we have that can be spawned
they
within
all
the
have
game.
different names, yeah?
Yeah, so we went with this one, which is Big Rig, but then we have the ATK, which is kind of like a golf cart. We have a helicopter spawner. We have a fun dirt bike spawner. We have different ones. We have even a sedan. I think this is Aldrin's favorite because kept on talking about it.
Is it? It's just so easy. It's easy to see.
Yeah.
Could you have it also as one of our spawn?
You can drag that
Yeah, I
into
think drag it.
Undecided.
Inside we have like two, so when they both spawn in, we kind of see the animation. I think they're really cool to see. And
So
I saw that Epic launched. They launched some. They launched a certain asset class. Maybe we'll look at it in our next stream. That's quite interesting. Where now you can also have pets, and then you write code for them, and they act as NPCs.
I think that's they're trying to integrate the pet functionality from Fortnite into UEFN, which is actually kind of dope.
Yeah,
That gives you the ability to have companions within
exactly.
your experiences. That's actually dope.
I'm going
All
to
right.
drag in a second button.
All right, cool. As Zai is doing
So
that, Amoti is saying this is a great innovation. What platforms are you? Wait, what platforms are you for the game? Huh. I'm trying to make out your question there, Moti. If you could ask it again, then maybe it would. But maybe asking what platform we're using currently. So we're now using Unreal Engine. We're developing on Unreal Engine. And some of the games that we've worked on are available on a PC, console, and PlayStation. So, sorry, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation plus mobile. So, in case you'd want to get a bit of an idea of some of the games we've worked on, Aldrin, I hope our Epic page is ready.
Yes, our Epic page is in the pipeline. The hype is real. The hype is real. We're going through the stage where they're verifying, validating, because Epic is very strict about security. So currently they're just verifying the details of our games, trying to make sure the age rating is actually appropriate, and then everything will be live and fresh. Expect to see a preem look. I'm using game lingo in real life. Crazy. A good look. A good
Yeah,
look.
but those who are wondering, we're currently using Unreal Engine, and it's the platform we're using to develop most of the games that we build. And this is Desire taking us through what it looks like having, what do you call the car? Do you call the car an NPC or?
I mean, in this particular case, the car is a traversal mechanism.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
but
Then for the NPC bit, it's going to be the second part where she takes us, I think in the second half, where she takes us into adding basically NPCs.
But
which
what would
are
you call the
engaged.
car? Because I feel like the car is still non. It's more or less going to. For example, in GTA, yeah, you see a bunch of cars driving on the streets. What would you call them? Would those qualify to be NPCs?
No, technically, if you think about it, the ones that you don't interact with
Yeah.
would be NPCs. But if it's a game as open as GTA, you can interact with most vehicles,
Okay,
right?
yeah, true.
So they'll technically be playable, yeah. So that's a bit different.
What about those that are not? Like maybe in Forza.
The enemy, this now would be enemy AI. That would be, yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely, yeah, it's definitely that.
That'd be like NPC behavior.
Technically, yeah, technically. Actually, it isn't because you're not play. You can't, by definition, you can't play them. They're non-player characters.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Desire, take us through.
So the beauty about functions is you can reuse them. Wait. When I talk and code, it's like my hands don't communicate properly.
I was excited to see this, you coding in real time.
Okay, now I can talk. So basically, what I did, I think, had I explained it? With the
No, you
blocks of
haven't
function?
finished explaining what your main loop is.
So we have two buttons now and two vehicles. One is a sedan, one is a big rig, right? So the steps for the sedan, these steps are the same. You say at edit table, you want to edit this, then you give it a variable name, and so that you can call it down here later and within your code, and you can give it what to do. Then you tell it the spawner device that you're going to use. This is the vehicle spawner, our parent, and sedan device, our child, and where it will be stored. And then down here, what I did was I assigned each button. So we have button vehicle for the big rig. I said that once it's interacted with, it should listen and then spawn big rig, right? Then our button 2, once it's interacted with, it should listen and then spawn. Let me change this to.
I'm wondering what that error would look like.
It would spawn. Oh yeah, it would be so bad.
What did you do?
Essentially, both the buttons are calling the exact same big rig. So imagining you press it the first time and big rig appears,
Yeah.
and you press it the second time and your computer explodes.
Oh my
So
god.
when it's pressed, it will enable this dot enable. It means it should spawn, right? It should enable sedan. So let's save that.
For me, I'm satisfied with that code. I think I'd just like to see another session running. So
Yeah, that's where we're going now.
okay.
All right,
So-
Desire, before you do that, I want to do a bit of housekeeping. Maybe you guys can meet yourself just to check who's in the chat. Derek is saying lock in. Derek, man, if you could pass us some Red Bulls, I think would definitely look in for another hour or two. Those pet companions in Fortnite are useless. I mean, they are, but they look good too. I mean, they add to the visual appeal of the game. So I believe for me, it's
There's
a go.
someone to keep you company while you get cooked.
Sure, bro. And man, that's Dero's usual, man. Never clutching up, just always getting cooked. Wicked Vulture is saying, what logic are you using for the car? Raycast or inbuilt vehicle mechanics? Desire, could you take that? Maybe Aldrin?
Yeah, so I think I saw the question earlier. He's asking what technology we're using for the cars, and I believe we're using the built-in methods actually available, not Raycast.
All right, cool. And Ace Gamer is asking now, perhaps as companions, ain't it? That must be Cedric. That must be Cedric. Aldrin, I missed your reply. Sorry, I got a bit distracted.
Cedric's banner. Oh, I was saying that for the cars, we're using the inbuilt vehicle mechanics because they're usually quite balanced already and they're already fleshed out. As you'll see when she does the playtest, because the moment they spawn, you can actually drive them around. Everything just mostly just works. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope we could voucher in case that has answered. If not, please let me know and Aldrin can take that again. We're having a bit of activity on TikTok, so I'll just jump over there and see what you guys are doing. Those that are following, those that are liking, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is our developer live stream. Welcome to Arudem. We're a game development studio here in Uganda, and we do quite a lot around within the gaming industry. We have content, game development, and I've also done some bit of work within the esports realm. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And someone is asking about the games. I believe Amoti, Aldrin, do we have the Epic link? Could you just send me the Epic link so that I can put it in the chat and those that would want to check our games out? We're also working on our layout, so down the road you'll be able to see most of our games and you'll be able to access them directly. Most of the projects we've been taking on have been commercial, so you find that we've been doing more uh, commissions than in-house projects. But going into this year, we've decided to also come up with an in-house project, our own internal IP that we're trying to build out. So that's something that we'll be building along with you during such streams, and you'll be able to keep up with it through some of our social media content that we shall soon be sharing. But for now, what I'll do, I'll just send a link in the chat where you guys can be able to see some of the work that we've done and where it's being used. Someone says, but still in GTA you can make them uninteractable and can't use them unless vehicles are allowed, modified, or maybe already modified. Yeah, I think his Ank is maybe looking at it from the perspective of the GTA custom servers. I believe if that's the context when you're looking at it, then yeah, 100%. Those that are anticipating GTA 6 coming out later this year, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the speculation that GTA will have a more open source approach towards gaming, and most of the players will be able to create their own custom experiences. In the past, it's been linked to a few particular platforms and a few particular studios, but I believe Rockstar is coming out with a model whereby creators can now create on top of the Rockstar universe. So that's something interesting and something we're really excited for here. Would love to see how best can we utilize the GTA ecosystem and also get to build our own custom experiences around custom games, utilizing some of the assets and the general Rockstar marketplace. So that's something exciting, and I hope it's something that pans out, and I'll be definitely looking forward to it. So yeah, those that are looking for the titles we've worked on, please, I'm soon sharing the link, so just keep an eye out for that. Um, Daniel Bill Games too. Yeah, we're currently, I don't know, Mark, are you a developer? Please let us know. What games are you making? Right now, we're working on a particular NPC behavior, and because NPCs have what you'd call predictable behavior, it has to have a level of code to it. Obviously, with AI coming in, you might find that most NPCs are now reacting to the environment and also reacting to the whatever human character is behind it. So that's something that I believe is important to note. Audrey, are you on TikTok? I just want you to take some of these questions as I take this call.
Let me check out TikTok. Let me check out TikTok. Site opens and makes noise for everyone. Okay. Okay, checking out your questions. Wow. Okay, my TikTok is literally blowing up. So much activity here. Okay. So excited to see build a GTA 6. Someone is saying, I'm a developer of Ugandan devs don't have spirit to collaborate and focus on big projects. Honestly, I'll tell you, as for trying to build a studio from the ground up, it's a mix of picking your battles. That's why you find that we're working on the platform we're actually working on. Because as much as we all want to build very large projects, they have to be sustainable at the end of the day. So for us, we're looking at not necessarily quick execution, but like execution that actually ships directly. So we all know that we can see our efforts reflect in maybe a year or so, because game development really takes a long time. It takes a long time. So what I recommend normally in that case is just simply finding a very sustainable platform for that. Are there more questions that I'm not seeing?
Could I maybe jump in there? Because someone is I believe PUBG Mobile Fans is asking. most developers don't have that collaborative spirit. Look, I'm a big fan of collaboration, but I'm also a big fan of collaboration that makes sense. I think we throw we have that mindset of, oh, let's collaborate. If let's say we're two artists and we can work on this project, but you find that down the road it gets complicated if our collaboration might not necessarily yield into anything. So it's important that when we're coming on to collaborate, we've really thought about it, and it's collaboration that's going to lead to a particular result. So it's something I'm aggressively big on, and just making sure you're not just collaborating for the sake of collaborating, but you're collaborating with a level of intentionality. And I think it's important for us to take note of as we, get into the collaboration space. Aldrin, I believe you've also interacted with a bunch of artists, and you've also been invited to collaborate at various projects. What would be your take on collaboration generally within the creative industry?
Honestly, I feel like collaboration has to be a very intentional endeavor, essentially, because I have artwork that I put out and someone else has to work with you, and you find that there's going to be maybe a certain expectation that everyone has that doesn't necessarily go documented or essentially expressed. So I think in terms of collaboration, it's if you want to work with another dev on something, it's very important that you guys actually figure out the scope of what you're actually working on. After figuring out that scope, divide that work as explicitly as possible, whereby everyone knows what their defined roles are in this particular collaboration. This prevents conflicts down the line of, oh, you were supposed to do this, but you did not, or why wasn't this talked about, or this thing has been left hanging. And also, I think as a creative, we all want to collaborate, but it comes down to engaging in projects that you also find interesting. So, for example, someone approaches me with something for a collaboration that is outside of what I find interesting, what I find motivating, it's very difficult for me to actually follow through with that particular effort. So someone said it's picky collaboration. Yeah. So yeah, definitely no random collaboration. It's picky collaboration, but like it's making sure that it actually works and you guys are actually a good fit to collaborate together. Because if you take on everything that comes your way, you find that you get swamped as a creative. And if you get swamped, you're doing things in a rush, you end up not delivering to the quality that you normally like to deliver to. So someone is saying, with Epic Games, what is the most difficult technical problem your team has solved recently? We used to have a lot of trouble around changes, because when I began using this particular platform, it has that whole versioning built in. So you find that there will be conflicts across different users. Those are different developers have different conflicts, and then you're trying to like merge them. You end up undoing someone else's work. Yeah, so there's a time when I think when working on Gene Dash, that was kind of an issue where we lost a bunch of progress. Someone actually spent I think it was a whole week working without pushing changes, and then they lost that work. And then we had to figure out of saying, okay, let's create a part, and then just to actually continuously submit what we are working on without having those conflicts. But generally speaking, as far as the Epic platform is concerned, if you're working with UEFN and also Unreal Engine, you find that there's a lot of support that's given to you. The engine has become so popular now that
Oh, Aldrin, you're a bit muted. One sec. Yeah, say again.
my
Say again, you're lost.
is it okay now?
You're back, yeah.
Okay, so someone was asking what kind of technical challenges you actually had working with Epic's team, with Epic's platform, and I was saying Epic's platform is actually quite relatively polished, yeah. And most of the technical challenges you'll experience will be garbage in, garbage out challenges, whereby someone has made a mistake somewhere and you guys are now working to solve it. For example, we had that version control issue where okay, Design is about to do some magic here. Design. Go back to the screen. Yeah, whereby we had an issue with version control where someone worked for a certain period of time without, submitting changes. And when they submitted, then they are conflicting with what everyone else had. And then there was a loss of work somewhere. So you find that the challenges we have are usually challenges of experience of you use this platform for the first time and you have to learn all these new different things. But for the platform itself, there's a lot of support out there. For example, the documentation for UEFN is quite thorough. It's the same as the documentation for Unreal Engine itself. If you have any kind of problem, that is not, sometimes when you're new to a system, you can actually manufacture problems that even the developers themselves wouldn't have foresought. But Ideally, I wouldn't say it's foolproof. I'd say there's a steep learning curve, but the majority of challenges you'll encounter will be self-inflicted. And if they are not, develop the Epic team and also the creators have actually come together to solve those problems before. Would you collaborate to build a 5M server with no rush that can use to someone? I think maybe this is something that Evan is very passionate about.
Passionate. And Ank, I told you
Yeah,
jump on a call, but you never came through, bro. I don't know what's going on, man. I was waiting on your call. But wow, there's a lot to like comment on. Desire, was there anything you're telling me? Oh, we're good?
No, we're good.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So let me just do a bit of housekeeping because the chats are coming in quick. For those that are wondering, we're also live on live on two other platforms. Oh, we're live on two platforms, which is YouTube and TikTok. So if you're watching on TikTok and you kind of want a better viewing experience, you can hop over to YouTube. We also have a bit of a chat there, so I'd want to take some of these questions and make sure that we've replied to everyone. I'll start with Danze. Danze here, and I believe Danze is, I would say, one of our would-be clients who sent a proposal over to him and his team over at Miraki. And, we're hoping that this is a project that we get to work on. And I believe, Danze, if at all you're looking for any confidence in our product, this is us building in public, so you can get a bit of an idea what it takes for us to come up with some of the projects that we're coming up with. And this also gives you, if hopefully Meraki gives us the confidence to be good for us also build it in public, and maybe the subsequent streams will be able to build the game proposal we had for Meraki and build it on such a live stream, which I think would make sense, and it will kind of give more value to the community and those who are watching. So I'll just look at a few comments too here before I give the mic back to Desire. Building a large project is the biggest error you can make as a startup game dev. Oh, I believe you're looking at if you're aiming for triple A, if you're aiming for a triple A title. I believe that's what you're trying to hit on Wicked Vulture.
yeah.
And maybe Aldrin, take this one because I have a take, but I also want you to say something on it.
For me, my take is as an indie studio, because we like to call it scope. That's the word. It's scope. Scope is usually a big problem. When you pitch a project, even us when we have our dev meetings, we get excited. You say we want to have a game. A game should have this. It should have that. It should have that. It should have that. And by the time you guys are done with the meeting, your feature list is 20 features long.
Yep.
And if you're realistic, that is like 7 years of development, of which you guys do not have the team, of which you don't have the team capacity or the time to actually, the resources to actually push for 7 years.
Yeah.
If you don't, they call it, I have a friend of mine who is a writer, she calls it killing your darlings, whereby you have these interesting things you want to put forward, but, they won't fit sustainably. So you have to kill your darlings. You have to, narrow down that scope as best as possible and say, you know what, as much as we have this big dream, since we are indie devs, let's start something small and make sure it's, quite polished. So yeah, I agree with you absolutely. Doing a very, very large project is always a good thing. But as a smaller studio, it's a fast track to facing so many different challenges. Honestly, if you look at the most successful double A, I don't want to look at things like Clear Obscure that have a very large budget, but look at something like Silk Song. Yeah, as much as it was a very successful game, it didn't try to be like the GTA of side scrollers. It's like we have a core concept, we polish that to a particular level, and then we ship. That's how it should actually be. That's how you can actually be able to deliver such things, because it's so much easier that way. And I absolutely agree with you. Ivan, do you have a contradicting take, or you want to supplement?
No, I'm actually just supplementing. I'm a firm believer lately that indie is the new cool when it comes to game development. I feel like the AAA titles are now like in a realm of their own, in that no one is aspiring to be like them. It's on a rare occasion that you kind of hear someone coming out and saying, someone wants to get into game development and saying that, oh, I want to be like, let's say, this studio or this particular AAA studio. Most of them are really benchmarking off indie studios, and when you see some of the indie work that's going out, it's more creator focused, and I believe the creativity right now is lying more within indie studios than it is triple A title studios, because when you look at most of the triple A title studios, they're aggressively run by corporate. As the conversations we've had, even in our past 2-3 streams, we talked about this quite a lot. You find that now most of these triple A studios are the creative has kind of been put aside, and it's now more for corporate, and it's kind of most of the efforts are pivoted towards what's best for business, and making sure that the lights are on and profit margins are hit for some of the shareholders and the board and all that. So aspiring to be a triple A studio and just going trying to go that crazy, I feel like is not something that so many industry standard studios, indie studios are looking out for. Most of them are just looking at making sure that they don't lose their creative control, because the moment you decide to go big and go crazy when it comes to such an industry, you sometimes have to trade off a few things like creative freedom. So that's something to really look into. And you see it a lot of it with GTA and how much has gone into just that one game coming out. I feel like it's even less about the creatives, that the developers of the game, but more of the corporate decisions that are being made. You hear things like GTA developers last saw their families 5 years back. So at the end of the day, you're getting to realize that corporate is making so many of those decisions, and it becomes very hard for such a studio as successful as Rockstar is. You find that I would estimate at least you're going to see more of a corporate facing company than a developer facing company. So just something to keep in mind. And as we go, that's a journey that we're also on, and we're hoping to see where we go. Again, sustainable game development. Game development has always been a massive struggle and a massive challenge within the country, and not just the country, but I think if on the continent Africa, you find that very many indie studios out there failing to keep the lights on. And that's why us coming into game development, it took us a while. We just drop into it to focus on building community, focus on building a really good content muscle. And now later on is now where we're coming out and saying, okay, now we can build these games. And we're not just falling into it, we're also sustainably working towards it and strategically working towards game development. So end to end, really, I think that's always a good point by Wicked Vulture. And yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Well, the comments are quite many. We need to quickly rush through this because I believe Desire's code is starting to erase itself, waiting to be launched. Someone says, I would want to see how you incorporate your three characters of a route to GTA 6. Yeah, that's something I think we're working on. Actually, last week we've been working on a few models with a few artists, both outsourcing and some of them internal. We're trying to see what we can do with our characters. With a new, I would say, the new brand idea we're coming up with, we found a lot more towards those characters that some of you have seen, which is Hand, Ghost, and Wink. And we're also trying to kind of expand our asset class, our character asset class, and you get to see and interact with more of these characters down the road. So yeah, Wicked Vulture, please look out for that. I think that's something that's going to be really interesting.
Dan's,
You're muted, Alden.
so that is very interesting.
I don't know why I'm not picking you up steadily. One sec. Say again your last.
Can you hear me now?
All right, copy you. Go ahead.
Okay. So Dan has asked in chat what the difference is between triple A and double A, and I think we'll address this again. So
Right.
there's a tweet I was actually looking for actively, but I can't seem to find that tweet where someone said, going back to what Ivan said earlier, that the new cool thing right now is just double A studios because there is so much innovation coming from them. So first of all, the distinction is that if you look at, I know Danze is a huge God of War fan. I'm pretty sure you've watched the trailer for La Fée already. I would like to pick your brain on that, and I know you're excited for it. So Triple A is like a title like that. Santa Monica Studios building a very large game that takes hundreds of millions of dollars to actually make. 007 First Light that came out recently, Pragmata that we played on the stream recently. Those are Triple A games, very large budget, very large teams, huge publishers. Then a double A game would be something like on the high end, something like Clair Obscura, where it's maybe self-published. Is it self-published? I don't know, but it's a smaller team, a smaller dev team, more constrained resources, a much narrower scope in terms of the size of the game. That's usually a characteristic of that. Then sometimes if you even look at the visuals of a double A game, they might be a bit more dumbed down, maybe more likely to be 2D or cartoon shaded. So the difference normally is usually budget. There's a tweet that I was looking for where someone said that since AAA studios are trying to call themselves double A, he can also go and call his pixel art game a triple A game because that's using words. But ideally, there's a distinction when it comes to budget. When it comes to budget, that's the largest difference. Because 007 First Light cost was 200 billion to actually make. Compare that to maybe Hollow Knight Silk Song, and look at the budget it took to actually make that. Look at the size of the marketing and the PR. Yeah, that's usually what the major distinction actually is.
Budget.
Yeah.
Could you actually in movie terms, yeah? There's a bit of an echo. Just could you just mute yourself or just again? Yeah, just drop again.
Actually, let me.
All right, Aldrin, I don't know if you've seen in movie terms, if to put this in movies, because I think that's a good description. There is a new movie that has just come out that's causing a buzz, and they're comparing it to I think they're comparing it to Mandalorian. I don't know if you've seen it by a certain YouTuber who I believe moved towards becoming a director. It's a new horror movie. I'm looking for it
That's
here.
crazy. What's that? Is that Iron Lang? Is that? I don't think it's Iron, because Iron Lang would be a good example. I don't feel Markiplier. I'm such a YouTube head. I watch so much YouTube. You could check and see, but the difference from my perspective would actually be something like a Marvel blockbuster and
Yeah.
maybe something from A24,
Exactly,
whereby
exactly. It was actually an A24 movie. It's similar
yes,
to, yeah, that's the saying Obsession, but there's another one. There was another one because I know Obsession is one of them, but then I also, yeah, I think okay, it could be Obsession, but there's one, it has that yellow vibe. Derek should be our guy in this one. I don't know where he is.
crap. You mean Backrooms?
Backrooms,
Yeah,
exactly,
that's a
exactly,
perfect example.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a clear. So Backrooms, you'd say is a double A game title, and then let's say the Mandalorian is a triple A title. When you look at the budget, you're looking at the marketing, you're looking at I think even the publisher themselves, the level that they're at, because you look at, for example, Microsoft. When Microsoft is coming up with Call of Duty, for example, is a triple A title. You find that while we have all these variations of Call of Duty, let's say Black Ops, then you have World War, then you also have Modern Warfare. It's because Microsoft, who now owns Activision, has three developer studios working on these games independently, year in, year out. So that's why they're also able to hit that turnaround time of publishing a new Call of Duty every year. So when you look at again, that all goes back to budget. The fact that Microsoft can have three in-house full-time studios working on just their one IP, that already classifies that title to be a triple A title. And I believe that the core factor there is really budget. And I don't know, man. That I don't know if that trend is deeping, but companies are seemingly just going more in. I mean, Xbox just aggressively committed to their new CEO, and also just came out strong. And I believe she left Copilot to join Xbox. So there's something it kind of shows you how particular they are when it comes to gaming. So they're not stopping. So, but right now where we are, just to give you guys a bit of a description, Triple A, I feel like is in a realm of its own, and now indie developers are more of like what you'd call your mom and is it mom and dad or mom and dad pop shop?
Mom and pop
Yeah,
shops.
mom and pop
Yeah.
shop. So it's kind of that same vibe, and it's also it's a growing trend, and I think that's where now sustainable game development is.
There's a very good example I have here. I've just
Yeah,
looked up the marketing budgets for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and it goes upwards of 150 million. That's marketing alone.
crazy.
That's like on par with a blockbuster movie, because it's a famous joke in the industry that movie budgets are, if your budget was 300 billion, we know that half of that is for marketing alone. So
Yeah.
same thing happens here in these kinds of situations, whereby you find maybe a smaller team. I don't know what the budget for Clear Obscura was, but I'm pretty sure it was significantly less than that, despite them having this guy from Daredevil in the game. I don't know how they did that as an indie studio, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's usually the distinction. That's usually the
Okay,
distinction.
does it say it in a layman's language, and I hope that explains it. I think for me, that's why I use the movie example because most laymen watch movies. So I think the movie example really gives you a clear description when it comes to what a triple A studio is and also what a double A studio is. Alright, I want to take on some more questions, guys. Try to make your questions a bit summarized, such as we can quickly read through them. I'll just jump over to TikTok because there's quite some. I think we had about 3,000 messages. Apologies, guys. We tend to want to dive deep on some of these questions, but we'll try to answer as many as we can. Wow, there's quite some chat here. Do you have developers, a studio, and contractors? Aldrin, what can you say about that? Do you have
I
developers, a
missed that.
studio, and contractors?
Wait. Where's that TikTok? There's so much happening.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
know,
on
I know, I know.
TikTok?
Yeah, maybe I can take it. Maybe I can take it. I think his
Okay.
question is kind of asking, do we have a studio or like a studio structure? Yes, we do. We have what we call a sustainable studio structure, which is comprised of a versatile programmer, a 3D artist. We're currently in the search for a 2D artist. We then obviously have the high level team on the corporate side, which focuses a bit on marketing and aspects to do with the general business development. For a core studio to happen, most of the indie studios, you're going to realize, they're going to tell you that fundamentally have one versatile programmer. That means a programmer that can transition within various languages. Case in point now, it's Desire. I hope Desire, you can meet that CV, that JD. But yeah, Desire is our versatile programmer, as you guys see. Then you need a 3D artist if, let's say, you're coming up with 3D worlds and 3D games. Case in point, some of the games and titles we've been working on have been 3D focused. So that's where our CTO Aldrin comes in. And Aldrin plays more of a versatile role. His core is 3D, but then you find that he goes into the various other domains like storyboarding. Aldrin, what else?
Basically, I have to make sure that the entire game works. So I'll begin from the very concepting itself. You find that I'm doing writing, storyboarding, doing modeling of props, level design to some extent. We have to get one of our designers on the stream next time. I think
Yeah.
Cedric has a lot to say. Has a lot to say. But essentially, there's a core team that you need. It could be a solo dev, but you have to make sure you know all these things. That's why it takes a bit longer as a solo dev, and you have to manage your scope. But essentially, we do have a studio structure, and like Ivan said, we are looking for a concept artist at the moment, and to kind of like speedrun some of the ideas that we have on ground for our internal IP. But yeah, that's what we do. Maybe I don't know what you have to say about contracting. Do you have any comments on that, Ivan?
Oh, yeah, so before you jumped in, I was just finalizing on the structure. Like I said, you need a 2D artist who's mainly now your concept artist. You need someone on 3D. If at all you work on any 3D titles, you need a versatile programmer who, case in point right now, we have his desire. And then you need a high level team who's more focused on the marketing, the business aspects, a bit of the human resource stuff, and just generally business development. So that's the structure that we have internally. And when it comes to contractors, I believe we have a database of individuals that we get to work with part time depending on the project. But again, we try to, as much as possible, keep most of the efforts in house, and we believe more in that internal capacity development. So you find that most of our efforts are more localized and they're more internal. And like Desire coming in as if she was specific to C++, we now push her to learning Verse and just getting friendly and familiar with more of these other programming languages. So I believe that answers that. So may I inquire to know the projects you're cooking now? Yeah, we're currently working on a few projects. We hopefully, Audrey, and this is something we need to work on as soon as possible because I believe as more people come in, they would want to get a bit of an idea of what we've done and what we've worked on. So within the next 2 weeks, we shall have a page dedicated to some sort of portfolio, I believe, where you'll be able to just click and get a proper end-to-end perspective of on what projects we're working on and what projects are in the pipeline and what we've worked on previously. So that's something that we hope to showcase within the next 2 weeks. Wow, PUBG, let me see. And guys, again, thank you so much for following. Thank you for coming through. Those that are watching on TikTok, you can head over to our YouTube if you want a better viewing experience. But we really appreciate you. We're live every Saturday 10 a.m. We get to take you guys through some of the development projects that we're working on, and we have other streams that we also run. Every Friday, I normally go live. Every Friday, 5 p.m., I go live and play some Call of Duty Warzone. As you guys may check the channel and you get a bit of a feel of what that looks like. And we also have a few, what we call our pasta controller sessions, where we test out a few games. And I don't know, what's our next title, Aldrin? Do we have a title that we're testing out for the next pasta controller stream? That would be interesting.
I want to get the boys to see what we can do for 007 First Light. I think the hype around that is still quite a lot. So if we can just grab ourselves a copy, then we see how we can actually fare. I think it's a much more linear game, also almost as linear as Clay Obscura. So we'll just try to see what that actually looks like. I think we are at the test phase. Desire.
I don't know, Desire, could you drag, Aldrin, could you mute yourself? There's a bit of an echo still. Desire, could you drag that to the next screen? Moses, if you can get some help here, just to help Desire out. Can you drag it to the next screen? Because there's a lag and I feel like that would interfere with whoever is watching. It's not a good experience, yeah? So let's just have that on the next screen. We can screen record it from there and then drag the screen recording back as I just read through the charts. So right now Desire is trying to um, implement the code. So we've worked on code and now we're trying to give you guys an experience of what the code looks like and now a playable experience. And that's what Desire is working on. But what I would want, since there's a lag on the screen, let her pre-record it and then she just drag it back and what the recorded version, which I feel like would be more seamless. Moses, you get it, yeah? Let's just have her put it on the second screen and then just run it from there. Alright, as Desire is doing that, I'll just take more questions out. If you can help me out with the TikTok chat, I can take one, just to take the other, and just kind of run it back that way.
There are some recurring questions people have actually just joined. Some of asking whether we're developing a game. Yes, we are developing a game. Wow. Okay. There's so many questions. Someone suggesting that we have a deep dive session. We are releasing information in tiny tidbits, but I believe we are planning on having much more nuanced conversations around gaming and the whole topic. We're looking for a particular platform. I think that will be shared in the long run, so we can have more and more of these discussions for everyone who wants to like be involved. Yeah, currently we're developing games. Some of the what games developed so far. So the games we have are games that have been commissioned by different agencies, and they are running on this particular platform provided by Epic. If you want to play the ones that are live right now, you can just search RDEM Fortnite. You're going to get our creator page, and then you can actually just jump onto one of those titles. As long as you have Fortnite installed, it's a small download to add the extra map, and then you can actually get to see what that work actually looks like. Let me
Maybe,
see.
maybe you could talk about some of the commission projects. We've worked on a project with Smirnoff. That's one of the brands that we've worked with, and we've developed a rocket race experience for Smirnoff. We've also worked with what you'd call social. Is it social? What do you call it?
It's corporate social responsibility, CSR.
No, not CSR.
Corporate.
There's a term for it, but we've worked with a particular agency that's keen on sickle cells awareness, which is Motor Crescent, and we developed a game where those that are playing get a bit of an idea and get to understand sickle cells. And those are two commission projects that we have launched. We also have something with the French embassy. And Aldrin, like, I think you see that there's demand for that, so I would want us to make sure that by the time we have the next live stream, those that may ask that question, they can just easily click and go view this game. So that's something we're working on. Please keep an eye
Yeah.
on our social media.
There'll be
within
yeah,
the
there'll
next
be a
coming.
link in the description to that particular page that has that documentation actually created. I think include the documentation for the new IP we're working on. I don't know, I'm
Yep.
doing a formal
Yeah,
a
we need to.
formal and
That's why we need a 2D artist, and I feel like if there's any 2D artists in the chat, we need to work on a lot of our concept art for most of these games, and we're looking for some 2D illustrators to come on board such that they can help us through this process. Moses, could you drag that to the next screen, please, so we don't have that lag featured. Aldrin, someone's asking, have you experimented with generative AI for creating game assets? Aldrin, any take on that?
The last time I tried to look at the tech, it was still a bit primitive. I think maybe there's been some advancements because that was a couple of months ago. Because if you're looking at assets, the different kinds of assets within the game dev environment, you're going to have, obviously, if you're working in 3D, you're going to have 3D models, you're going to have textures, you're going to have even music and audio. And recently, there's so many companies, even animation itself, those also animation assets. So what I have looked at personally, I think, was initially the animation side, where you had these different companies sort of like creating suitless mock-up solutions. So in case you don't have a crazy animation brought into your game, you simply record a video, then this thing translates that into an actual animation that you can actually use. That's gotten better over the years. I think there's a tool called Cascadeur that does that incredibly well. It was actually free at first, but then when the hype like blew up, they made the whole thing paid. Very interesting. Then I think the most obvious question is always when it comes to image gen AI. I was always a bit skeptical on my end, honestly, but you find that there are solutions that I can actually get behind. For example, when it comes to textures, I've looked at so many providers who are giving us provisions for creating textures using Gen AI. Of course, they still need some polishing, and I think as we can all agree, as with all AI tools, is that you have to be somewhere for this thing to actually help you. Like if we're saying we want to create a AAA game, we're not going to have we're going to just tell the AI to generate everything for us. Yeah, you have to come with a certain level of art, and then you get something decent that you can actually modify to get something really good out of that. The other thing that I've seen is maybe the Meshify solutions that let you generate 3D assets. But the challenge with those is that games are a bit more nuanced than film production. If you're doing 3D for VFX and film, what you're chasing is fidelity. Do things look good? Are they high quality? But when you're making stuff for games, you have to look at things like how many vertices are in a particular, how much geometry is in a particular model, how many maps does it take to, bring that model into the engine. Otherwise, if you bring in too many, you're going to sort of like tank the frame rate. So as far as we have gone so far, Gen AI hasn't been able to bridge that gap between, things looking like they should work and then also production ready content. I think maybe down the line, you find that as more developers engage with Gen AI, we'll find a way of, bridging that usability and also the output that comes out, where it's not just the illusion of this thing looks good enough to be in a game, but this thing can actually work when you put it in that environment. Okay, so you made a car model. So let's see, is it broken down into, are there compressed, image textures? Is the polygon count, because that actually matters in engine, is the polygon count optimized to actually run in real time? Yeah, there's stuff like that. Someone's
All right.
asking how much is the PT in the background.
How much is the the PC? All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. There's an interesting question here. Someone's asking, will desire still be needed for coding? Well, desire are calling you out for, I don't know, maybe
I'm going to defend this.
yeah,
The how
I think
people.
I'll also defend desire. Aldrin, you can go first and then I can jump in.
Yeah, because for me, like I said, I think with all Gen AI tools, if you give a person who doesn't know anything about coding Claude, there's only so much they can do with it. But if you already had the knowledge about a particular topic and then you're given this agent to work with, there's a way that you know what exactly you're looking for. You know how to manage the quality. You know when it's hallucinating. I know it's not hallucinating. So I think you still need to have developers on board. You still need to have, and I think this is maybe something we can have a much longer discussion about. Is there's that erosion of the entry level jobs whereby it's like, okay, you have senior devs, then you're going to have
Yep.
AI, and then when the senior devs retire, what do we do next? Yeah, who will become the new senior devs to like sort of like fix everything that we've been vibe coding for the last couple of years? I still think we need to have,
Vibe
they call them
coding.
humans in the loop. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. It's like I think it's the
I'm not a
2026
fan.
word of the year. It should
I'm not
be
a fan of it though, but okay.
it's a whole can of its own, the whole vibe coding. Yeah, so if you're vibe coding everything, then you don't have devs anymore. You find that you can't actually solve problems, so you have to have a developer, and then maybe the developer can be assisted. If you look at Unreal Engine itself, there's an inbuilt developer assistant, and it's supposed to just help you get around the engine, help you with certain small problems. Because like you've seen when Desire was developing, there was a page that had a list of different functions and classes. If you're not able to memorize all of that, but you know how to use them, that's when this tool actually comes in to help you out. Not as a crutch, whereby you're saying, okay, I don't know how to code anything, so let me just rely entirely on the AI. Yeah, so you have to have a developer. You have to have a developer generally.
No, for sure, Aldrin, and I mean 100% agreement. I think fundamentally I'm someone who believes a lot, or when it comes to first principle thinking. So regardless of AI coming in, we still need to look at things from the first principles, and why you need someone like Desire in, regardless of maybe the automation that's coming, the automated solutions that AI is bringing when it comes to coding. You still need a good developer in house. It may just require less developers. I believe Desire gets to stick with us quite longer actually. It may just require less developers around, and her just leveraging AI and making sure that she's adaptive and she's able to utilize it as a tool to just expedite some of these processes and work through some of the repetitive tasks that, or the repetitive functions that she may need to set up for the games. But yeah, she's still needed. I think she's a very I think programming is key. And Aldrin, in your experience, I know sometimes game development looks like something that's more artistic in terms of the back end than it is coding or techie. But I think there's a lot of code that goes into most of these games, and you need a really good code team. And like I always say, gaming is that one industry that encompasses the top creative talent all coming together. You need top creative talent coming together in one. Other industries, let's say if you're running an agency, you may just need like a designer maybe. But when it comes to gaming, you need people in music. That means you need creatives in music. You need creatives in film, in production. You need creatives because you need to understand things like lighting, frames, and all that. You need creatives who are big. You need artists actually. So artists. So there's a lot of creative talent that's needed when it comes to building and running a game studio, and also just building and coming up with a game. So that's why I think it's one of those industries that has tested creativity and also technology. And it's fascinating for us to be part of this industry. And there's something that I would advise each one of us to pick up from gaming. It's that one industry that I feel like exposes you to so many aspects when it comes to technology, when it comes to creativity, and that's why we're championing it. It is, as Desire is still working on. Desire is trying to get a render for us, by the way, so that we can look at whatever she's worked on, whatever code she has been writing, and that being present for us to physically see it in game. As I'm doing that, let me just go through some of the chats here. PUBG Mobile fans, let him develop on GTA San Andreas. Best place to start. Okay, I think yeah, this is just an interaction between two people in the chat. Um, Most people entirely rely on AI. The investment is creating master prompts. Yeah, but AI is a really good tool. But one thing I'm realizing, I think even the past weeks we couldn't realize that companies that laid off individuals and substituting them for AI, and they thought that was more, or that was more business friendly. They're now starting to roll back on that decision because they're coming out and finding that running these AI, let's say servers, or like running these AI systems, it's quite costly. So why maybe you'd pay someone, let's say $1,000 a month, you're spending close to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 in just, they call them credits, right? And what do you call
On
them?
tokens, on
Tokens, yeah, they call them
tokens.
tokens.
Yeah.
So you find that that's now becoming a downside. AI is still expensive, and I think it's not always going to stay that way. I believe the more mainstream it becomes, the cheaper it will get. So right now, just because it's at its inception, it's still crazy expensive. But some companies committed quite early, and you find that they built their structures, their company structures around AI because maybe they didn't want to, they didn't want to be left out, and the whole formal aspect. But people are now tending to realize that it's becoming expensive to rely on AI because you may play now. Like for me personally, I have Claude, yes, and I use it, and let's say I've paid for a particular subscription, but I still find myself having to midway the month, or even like 2 weeks in or 1 week into the month, I still have to pay for more tokens, which makes it really unsustainable given that most of these companies rely on monthly cycles when it comes to subscriptions or annual cycles. So finding yourself in a position where you have to pay for particular tokens just midway your monthly or your annual subscription really still hasn't yet made sense for most people from a commercial and business perspective. But that's something I believe will improve down the road, and hopefully it's something that most of these AI companies are looking into, and yeah, maybe we'll get a solution down the road. What have we developed so far? That's something we're working on, and I believe next week you'll be able to see it. But like we said, most of our projects have been commission-based projects, so that means brands have been reaching out to us, and we've developed games for them. Some of the brands we've worked for are Motor Crescents, Smirnoff, which is a popular brand that most of you know, and yeah, hopefully we've sent out some proposals. We're working on something with Afro Mobile. You can also go watch the Humble Setup. By the way, we launch it every first Friday of the month. So
Yes.
we launched our
Yeah.
the episode for episode 3, I believe, of the Humble Setup of season 4. So you can go look at that, and that gives you more of the behind the scenes, a deeper behind the scenes of some of our works. So we do a bit of a docu series, and we take our community behind the scenes of the brand that we're building and some of our day-to-day work. So we had, I think, about 1 or 2 client meetings that featured in the Humble Setup. That was with Afro Mobile, and that's something you guys can see and just get an idea of what these commissions and more of these commercial projects, what they look like. All right. I'm sorry if I'm not getting to all the questions, but yeah, I believe we've tried to answer most. And yeah, as usual, guys, man, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sparing your Saturday mornings and spending it with us. We really appreciate that, and we don't take that for granted. Those that are watching on TikTok, you can head over to YouTube if you want a better viewing experience. And yeah, please do like, do share. It helps with the algorithm and just getting more game developers in here. And guys, let me know if you're watching and you're a game developer, why are you watching? I think I'm really interested to see what keeps someone who's not game specific here, or maybe so those that are just playing the games, what keeps you guys here? Oh, no sound on TikTok, really? I don't know, Moses, could you just check that? Please confirm. Someone says there's no sound on TikTok, but on my end, it seems like the values look okay. But yeah, regardless, guys, let me know why you stick around, why you're watching. Is there anything that you might want to see? Is there anything that you might want us to look into? Do we have classes for people who love deep dive in developing? We don't have classes, but what we shall try to do is just have these live streams because I think it's a more sustainable way for us to extend value, and hopefully down the road, as we get most of these projects in, we can have maybe certain sessions. I think right now I'm more focused on building capacity and making sure that by the time we call uh, individuals in to learn from us, we've kind of already built, and I think that's what's important. Just trying to be as authentic as possible. I know most people, when they get into most of these creative endeavors, they quickly go for courses and they quickly go for classes, but that's something we're trying to avoid. I've tried it before, and again, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that by the time we have like sessions where we're training and we're teaching people, we're sure about what we're passing on, and we've also done the work. So right now we're more focused on building. We're more focused on actually building projects that you all can see, you all can appreciate, you all can share feedback on, and then maybe hopefully down the road in the future we can run some programs. That's something that we are definitely not opposed to. Um, yeah, guys, again, I think I've tried my best to reply to every question. Are you with Unreal Engine? Yeah, we're currently using Unreal Engine, which I believe, unless otherwise, is our fundamental platform. Is it impossible to build an open world of Kampala City? I think Aldrin, that's something that Anything you can say about that? Because seems some people might want an open. I just saw yesterday. I think when Epic had some sort of event yesterday. Oh, there was a sudden game event yesterday. I don't know if I don't. What was it?
That was, I think it's Game Fest. I actually
Yeah,
missed it.
Game Fest.
It's the one
Okay.
that preceded the update we were struggling with in the morning. Yeah.
I saw an Indian open world game that was launched, so that was quite interesting. Some developer came up with an open world India simulator, so when you jump in, you can just kind of experience Mumbai for yourself. So I thought that was really interesting. Gaming offers escape, control, and sense of identity or belonging, making the experience personally. Is this in reference to anything? But I think, yeah, I do agree with you. Gaming is that one craft that I believe gives you that opportunity. Unlike other entertainment mediums like maybe series, movies, or even reading a book, or maybe just listening to music, gaming is something that's interactive, and you have an opportunity to make have some sort of outcome from whatever actions and whatever you're doing in the game. And some of the games are recently saying they have choices. You can Derek was playing a game, I believe last weekend. Maybe Derek, if you're in the chat, you can let me know, where you have like it's like a movie of sorts, but it's aggressive interactive. So it plays out based off the choices you get to make in the game. So I thought that was really interesting, and it's kind of a new way in which we are experiencing content, and it's now broadening up beyond just gaming, but kind of becoming interactive media, or interactive entertainment, which I think is an industry that's growing. So this is just the bubble is expanding beyond just, oh, it's just gaming, but now it's kind of expanding towards interactive entertainment, which I think is the future of entertainment, to be honest. Because I mean, at least I would say 9 in 10 people do play video games, regardless of who you are, regardless of gender. So it's something to pay attention to, and yeah, hopefully we can also build along that. All right, I believe we've said quite a lot, and we've taken the floor from Desire, and Desire, we're really sorry. I think the chat just came in crazy, and
Desire has been
yeah,
waiting.
she's been waiting. So before you play what you have to play for us, Desire, what I'm requesting for is could you just give us a rundown of what we've been looking at all the way from the start? Where have we come from? Where are we right now? And what is our end goal? I'm still a bit disappointed though, because I still the title for this stream, when I was reading the description, there was a bit of an AI and NPC discussion, but I've still not seen the two happening up to now. But nevertheless, I still believe in what Desire has to show us. So, Desire, over to you.
Desire is it's coming back next weekend. She has to finish what she started, and yeah, I'll let her carry on eating more of her time.
Well, I thought we would be able to do the vehicles and the NPCs at the same time, but I guess, like you said, the chat became active, which is a good thing, and we had to like interact. What we're doing today, or what we are doing today, is we were trying to spawn these vehicles so that in game, when a player presses a button, the vehicles are spawned and they can ride around in the map. Right? We created a vast device, a device that enables code to be transmitted between all these things that we added within our map. Right? This is the code that we added. And in the code, we were able to call the vehicles that we added within the map and ask to be edited. And then we matched some specific buttons to specific vehicles. And at the press of that button, the vehicle will be enabled so that the player can see it within the map. Is that a good rundown? Are we good? So there is a bug that I ran into. I think I should be able to show you guys. When the game would start, vehicles would still appear at the start of the game. The problem was under our outliner, when you choose the sedan, right? When you choose the sedan and you go to detail panel, there is this enabled during phase. It was on always, meaning from the start of the game to the end, it will be appearing. So what you have to do is turn it off. I think this is to answer the question of if AI would be able to overtake the programmer, right? The gentleman did a great job at defending my honor, Aldrin
You are welcome.
and Ivan. But when I faced that challenge, what the first step that I did, because Unreal, Epic has
Built-in developer assistant, right?
yeah, a built-in developer assistant. Let me show you what that is. So it has its own AI. This AI assistant, you can ask it to build code, you can ask it to do different things, and it's still learning. I think that's the best term that I can give it, because once I pasted my code in over here, and I asked it what could be the problem. Is my code running okay? And it said that instead of having enabled, remember, enable allows us to run, allows the vehicle
To spawn, yeah,
to
basically.
spawn, to spawn or to appear within the game. So when I asked it, what can I do? What can I do to make the vehicle disappear? And then when you press the button, it appears. It said that we should change the function to respawn vehicle instead of enable, right? But the problem with that was it doesn't take away the vehicle. It just means that once the vehicle is showing, you can go press the button and it respawns. So it was taking away from what we had to do. So yeah, it didn't quite answer my question. It didn't give me the solution that I needed. And the solution that I needed was in the details panel instead. So with that said, let's see what we have coded out, how it would appear. Yeah. This is our guy. Once you play, no vehicle, as you can see. No vehicle, as you can see. It's already full screen.
Is it?
It's already full screen.
Really?
Yeah.
No, double click on the. Is it full screen?
Yeah, it's full screen
Oh,
because
is.
the game is bordered. The
oh, because of
border.
how she was recording. All right, cool. Copy.
Yeah, yeah.
Carry on.
So once the button was pressed, Big Rig appeared. Big Rig is a big vehicle. Then that button brought in our sedan, and then I went to the wrong button there, which had brought the Big Rig. And the last button that I'm going to go to will spawn our dirt bike, right? So we have all these three vehicles that we have spawned, and you're going to see me play test the driving in a bit.
Someone asking about the mechanics for driving, and yeah, it's mostly built in. So essentially, from the title of the stream, we're supposed to be looking at, having NPC behavior, but because Desire felt like we should have a bit of introduction in regards to VAS, and I think me as a person
Easing
who
us in.
to who has done some coding before, I think it kind of makes it feel like VAS is significantly more approachable now. Not that I thought it wasn't, it's just that since I have my there's collisions on the button. That's very interesting. Anyway, yeah, so maybe in the next stream, I think we'll do like a part 1, part 2 kind of thing, whereby now we'll actually be looking at, from now that we have these vast fundamentals, we understand what classes are, we understand what what the main loop of the VAS code is supposed to be and what it's supposed to do. We can then go ahead and have our NPCs come in, look at what maybe combat looks like, how you assign teams to those NPCs. How do you choose which characters you want to use as NPCs? Desire is now XP farming with the bike. Yeah, so that's what I think we can actually
Getting your
look forward to.
XPs.
Oh yeah, this is my account. So yeah, please carry on by all means, by all means. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. I don't know if Evan has any commentary to add.
With Big Greg over there.
Big Rig, can we see the spawn again? I don't know. I feel like it came so fast we kind of missed it.
Yeah, she kind of like, you might have to go back to the part where you actually press the button, then you look back and then that's spawn.
So as you can see, when I'm running towards it, there are no vehicles whatsoever, right? Nothing. So once you press a button, for it, trying to look for that E. See, Big Rig appeared.
Okay.
I think this is a very good lesson in game design, in that if I was the one doing this particular level, I'd make sure that the car spawns directly in front of the button, so you can actually see that particular moment. Yeah, then maybe even add some bit of VFX to make sure it actually looks wonderful. But again, Desire is our programmer, not our level designer, so let's not crucify her.
Thank you. Yeah. So there you go.
Okay, so nothing to do with AI today.
No, I betrayed us today.
How? But what was the concept around AI? Because I think personally I've not interacted with AI from the Unreal Engine.
Maybe I'll take that on because handle the stream organization. It's first of all, there's a couple of things that you can actually do with maybe Desire can go to the page of NPCs, the NPC documentation within Epic.
Yeah.
So there's just simply keeps on devices. First go to NPCs. Are they on that same page?
Wait.
That's devices.
I had it somewhere. Sorry, I opened different tabs.
Those are even few tabs. It's okay. There's a few. There's rookie tabs. Okay.
Still
Those are
under
general
devices.
I think it's Google NPC behavior, UEFN. You should probably get to that documentation directly. NPC types, one devices. So what the plan is going to be, I think, for the next stream is we'll look at
Are you seeing
essentially,
any NPC behavior?
yeah, there's NPC spawner type and standard behaviors at the very bottom of the results. Such results down there. Yeah,
Oh, this is character
character
definitions.
definitions. So anyway, NPCs are a relatively complex topic. That's why I think they'll need to get their own separate 2 hours outside of this vast introduction. I think we'll also
Yeah.
edit the title to sort of like match the content we've actually been going through. But ideally, we would look at if you have your game set up, you have the player who comes into the lobby and then signs on into the map, yeah, and comes to actually play. So in the event that you're designing a single player experience or even a multiplayer experience that you want to include sort of like AI elements into, you have a roster, you have a device that lets you bring in non-player characters, and then you can use Vast to define the behavior of those non-player characters. That's basically what the principle of the stream is supposed to be. So you get this NPC spawner device, you customize it and say, I want my NPC to look like this, I want my NPC to behave like this, I want my NPC to have these particular functions. If my NPC is going to be a combat-ready NPC, what kind of gear are they carrying? What armor are they carrying? What are their damage stats? How much damage do they deal? How accurate are they? If they're not maybe a combat NPC and they are a discussion NPC or a quest NPC, what is their dialogue like? Are they recruitable? For example, I think there's a couple of new LLM features they added within Fortnite. I remember there's that whole Darth Vader situation where they brought Darth Vader into Fortnite and you could actually talk to him. I think it was powered by ChatGPT or something. So I've been trying out things like that to get, context, like dynamic context, and I said not sensitive, context sensitive responses from NPCs directly. So ideally, it's like a whole roster of its own. It's something we're working on for our games too, and I think we'd like to do that together with you guys. So that would be the follow-up stream from this. I don't know what Desire has to say about that. What should prepared for us?
I feel like you have really covered everything expansively, leaving just a little bit for me to say. No, but with NPCs, it's quite an interesting thing. Even actually, VAS UFN provides you the template when you're trying to dive into it with VAS. Maybe I can show you a bit of it before we end the stream. Should I?
Yeah, please go ahead. We still
Yeah.
have a few minutes.
Yeah, we can also, anyway, what you can do is maybe as you show us that, you can just show us what the spawner device looks like and what its customizations are, I think, in the outliner.
In the outliner. Oh, you were supposed to add some. Actually, yeah, next time I won't forget. Next time I won't forget. You were supposed to do something for you guys. I think we shall also push it to the next stream.
I did talk a lot, so that's something too.
NPC spawner device.
Mugume, is there anything you're asking in particular, please?
This is not the spawner device, is it? That's
That
not the
should be,
spawner.
that should be.
It
But
is.
first dragging it in, we see.
Yeah, I have.
So drag that in, then we look at the
I
properties.
don't know why today it's a little bit laggy.
Now there's a thing that Unreal Engine does where it has a pack of shaders it loads for the content drawer, then also shaders it loads when you're bringing an asset. So sometimes that process can tend to stall the engine a bit. You could try it again.
Did you
Let's
get
go back.
any Unreal Engine updates this other?
Yeah, that's the, I remember the 30 gig we had to get today morning. I had to
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
ASAP. But now for Unreal Engine, I think we're a bit behind. I don't know if I have that latest. I think we're on 5.8.
Yeah.
I'll have to
I think
check
we
and
need to give it a little bit more time because
it's
I think even the
coming.
cursor is just a cross and everything else is hidden. I think
It's
we need
at
to
his
give it a bit of
computer.
time.
Yeah, we'll give it a second. Because handling the stream and everything. So what was I saying? Yeah, we can look at that NPC device that you bring in, like any other device is already pre-made. Then maybe in the next stream, not even maybe in the next stream, we'll look at how you customize that NPC. How do you choose how the NPC behaves? I think Desire, we also looked at paths where you can control the
Oh yeah.
how far within a particular territory an NPC can actually move. For example, you have the guard type NPC, you can dictate that, okay, these ones can only patrol this number of square kilometers, yeah? Square meters, I guess. Then move around, yeah,
I
please.
think when that gentleman asked, there is a certain person that asked what are some of the challenges that we have faced so far. I think that was one of the problems that we had. There was a time I created an NPC and those things were walking on water. It was so bad.
What?
They were walking on water. They would float. I think Aki remembers this. It was such a problem. But recently, as we're researching more on NPC behavior, we fell on that mesh that you can create like a path where you dictate whether the NPC should pass here, whether it can even blow up a wall instead of like climbing over or anything. It's so cool. I can't wait to actually like
The
execute
way
that.
that it works is that you give it a starting point and an end point, and then it does whatever it needs to do to actually get there. So instead of phasing through a wall, it will know that, okay, here there's a wall that
I
has
do.
destruction enabled, so I can destroy that wall to advance to the next stage. So Desire, you have a lot cut out for you for that next stream.
A lot,
Yeah.
bro. A lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And I hope she's
Well,
this time around. I hope your fingers are ready to go. But yeah, guys, are tuning in. Thank you for coming through. Those that are following, we really appreciate the follows. We appreciate the likes. Thank you for sharing this, and please do like, do share, do encourage that. And if you're tuning in, we're also live on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube if you want a better viewing experience. We're live every Saturday, 10 a.m. to midday, which I believe it's top of the hour, our time to kind of log off. But generally, I think it was a good stream. We got an opportunity to see how the spawn mechanics works. We had ideally set out to look at the AI's integration with some of the games and products we're working on, but we're caught up by time, and I believe as Desire is committed, now next stream we shall be able to look more in depth when it comes to AI and how it relates with some of our in-game mechanics. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Those that are new here, welcome. Welcome to Arudem. We are a game development studio here in Uganda, Kampala. And yeah, just really appreciate you guys for making the time. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Those that have watched fully, those that have been here since, I appreciate you. Dizzy, one of our top guys, bro. Dizzy coming in clutch. I hope he's taking notes, man. I think after all these streams, because Dizzy's always watching these streams 2 hours straight. So
we expect a game from him,
for
man.
sure, man.
Like,
We expect something from him, man. Dizzy has to come through. But yeah, those in production. Moses, thank you for setting this up for us. Desire, any parting remarks as we sign off? Oh, Desire, you muted. I don't know what's wrong, but I can't hear you.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I had muted. Not much. I'm just excited that at least we have covered a bit of us and like the grounds, and can't wait to see what we can do with the NPC behavior in the next stream. Yeah, can't wait.
All right, KSMN, we see you, man. Big ups. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Let me know why you're watching, by the way. I would want to know when you guys watch the streams, why do you watch? And I think it's important for us to know what kind of captivates you, such that we know what to double down on, and maybe just as general feedback to see what we could change and maybe what you might want to see. So, KSMN, please let me know. I'm around if you need a writer for story mode. All right, Aldrin has taken that note. So, KSMN, are you a writer, or just give us a bit of more context of how you and gaming and how your world and the gaming worlds collide. I think I'm particularly interested in that. Aldrin. Any parting remarks as we sign out?
My parting remarks is essentially thank you guys for showing up. I love the enthusiasm. I've taken note of the fact that we have so many discussions midstream, and I think we'll try to address that and make sure that we have a time to have those discussions. And they are, of course, they're insightful for all of us involved, and they're quite interesting. We look forward to having more of those. Yeah, watch out for the next stream. Make sure the moment it goes up like this, just go and hit that reminder button. Yeah, hit that reminder button. Please go watch our Humble Startup episode. It's live right now. It will take you through the back end of our business. You actually get to see what we, what boots on ground actually looks like when we're handling business. Yeah. Thank you guys for showing up. Maybe Desire can also. Should we close off?
Yeah. They shouldn't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, guys. Humble Setup episode 3 is out now. I'll just see if I can drop the link in the chat.
Yeah. You can now get to see when Ivan did sleep off.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Desire?
I guess they will have to watch the video to find out.
All right, guys. There's the link, but you can head over to RM Gaming on YouTube. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. See you guys next weekend, same time. We'll be having a stream calendar come out, so you get to know the other streams that we get to run. But for now, we have my streams go up every Friday, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., where I get to play Call of Duty Warzone. Then we have this developer live stream happening every Saturday at 10 a.m. to midday, right about this time. Then subsequently, we'll also be having a few streams when it comes to us playing some of the games that are out there. Our last stream we played Pragmata, and hopefully now we're looking forward to playing 007. I think that's a game that has been recommended, and yeah, hopefully we get that in too. But yeah, for those that have opportunity, for those that have stuck around, appreciate you, and see you guys next weekend. Peace.